Hello, 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 and welcome to Narrate Your Story TV. My name is Dr. Christy Iwuchukwu, and I am super excited for today's conversation. This is the show that we bring to you every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So what is this show all about? This show about bringing leaders and everyday people to share with you life lessons that they have learned along the way so that you can navigate life and you don't have to go through the same thing they have been through. Now, in today's conversation, I have a guest that you want to listen to. This is going to be an enlightening conversation. I have Dr. Penny Heflebower. In today's conversation, I want you to bring your pen, things to write with, if you want to take some notes. Please help me as I talk about my guest today, introducing my guest. She grew up in Southern California, and she has a younger sister, differently disabled from radiation treatments. She's a military wife for 22 years, and she received certificate of ordination, Doctor of Philosophy in Humanities, and honorary chaplain from I Change Nation. She also has received a bachelor's in biblical counseling. She's the founder of Victor Valley Rescue Mission. She has worked for 19 years as a school teacher for special needs people. And she cared for her husband for 8 years before he passed away. Please put your hands together and help me welcome my guest, Dr. Penny Heflebower. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Christy. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to uplifting and encouraging others.
Awesome, awesome. You and I got to talk and we got to know each other a little bit. But for those individuals that don't know who you are, tell our listeners, tell our viewers, who are you?
Well, I'm a daughter of 3 sisters and the middle sister of the 3. And I grew up with a sister that had brain damage, which made our family completely different than other families. But I didn't know any different. I found out after I grew up that because of this different situation, I learned a lot of patience and how to do things for myself because my mom didn't have time to do for her. Anyway, then I got married at 19, married a military man, and off to Puerto Rico we went. I had 2 children. They're in their 40s right now, and 5 grandchildren. And my husband passed away 4 years ago, and since then, I have been devoting my entire life to serving God.
Wow. Sorry about the passing of your husband.
Thank
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna dig into that conversation. It's a whole lot that you talked about. You know, I've always said that we meet people like you when they are at the pinnacle, when they have achieved something, when they are at the mountaintop. But it's always a walk through the valley.
Yes.
That we learn the greatest lessons.
Yes.
So can you share with us, with our audience, how was that walk through the valley for you?
Well, knowing that that I was different than other people because of how I was raised, I always felt like I wanted to change myself to become like other people. And it wasn't until I was 68 years old that I realized God loves me and wants me to be me, just the way I am. And until that time, it was a struggle for me to try and be somebody that I wasn't. It was really hard. And then all of a sudden, I realized that I had some unique gifts and talents that nobody else had, and it was okay to be different. And when I realized that, and I started using the talents that God had given me when I was born, it's life is easy because I'm not trying to do something. It just comes naturally because it's what God gave me.
Wow. You said quite a bit. And for so many women,
Mm.
we have resided for not being who we are, including myself for so many years,
Yes.
because we always think that we have to be like this other person, or the gift that I have been given is not like this other person. Therefore, it doesn't have any value. But isn't it amazing? Like you said,
No.
it's not until we've gone through life, we've come to the middle of our life, and we are thinking, oh, wow, nothing really mattered. In my own case, it's like nothing really mattered. If I knew that no one is really thinking about me, if I knew that no one is really watching me, if I knew that people didn't really care so much about how I looked, how I walked,
Yeah.
how I talked, I would have done a lot more than I am doing now. And isn't it amazing? Oftentimes we see people how we feel in the inside is not how people view us. While people are saying, oh my God, you got this gift, you can do this. Do you know how amazing you are? We are feeling so sorry inside of us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. We have to realize that we're originals, not copies. We are an original, each one of us. And no matter what you think other people think, you have to be who you are. And I thought about this one time and I go, well, how do you know what your gifts are? And really, your gift is what comes easy to you. When you were a child, what did you think about, wanting to be when you grew up? Um, how how do you react to people? Is it easy for you to be around people, or do you feel kind of set back? Those kind of inner things are what are the gifts that God has given you, and you need to exercise them and use them for His honor and glory.
But you are so right, because oftentimes we go around looking for our purpose, looking for our calling, looking for our gift.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes natural,
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes we don't identify because we don't think, like I said, that those things have value. So we
Yeah.
don't identify until later us in our life, and we begin to identify, looking for your calling, looking for your purpose, but you've had it all this time. You
Yes.
just have never taken the time. Be silent and quit looking at everybody else and realize that whatever you've been looking for, that
Yeah. Yeah.
thing has already been looking for you. It's there, looking for you, waiting for you to catch up, because it has always been there,
You
right?
know, the thing that helped me
Mhm.
was that His Royal Highness Clyde Rivers started encouraging me and telling me, I had this, I had this, I had this, you're a good, you're a good speaker, he encouraged me. And I didn't believe him at first because I thought, oh no, that's not really me. And he goes, no, you are good. People like to listen to you, this type of thing. So I encourage you who are listening to start encouraging and uplifting others, because when they hear it from somebody else, they may start believing it, and then that will change their life.
That will change your life. And then we're talking about um, His Royal Highness, Dr. Sir Clyde Rivers. And I cannot say enough. He is he is so different that he always sees the good in everybody,
Yes.
regardless. He always sees the good in everybody, and that's a
Mhm.
great quality to have. And he's my mentor as well, and I cannot tell you what this man has done in my life. And oftentimes he probably doesn't know it as well. He doesn't know it, but he is a great encourager,
Yes.
always lifting you, pushing you up, telling you you can do, you telling you how great you are. And
Hmm.
that's what we all need,
Yes.
Dr. Clyde Rivers, in our life. That's
Yes.
right. So talk to me during the introduction and when you were talking about yourself. You talked about growing up with a younger sister
Hmm.
who is differently disabled.
Hmm.
How has that impacted your life? I can't get it out this morning, y'all.
That's quite all right. I get it. um, I didn't think that it did so much until
Mm,
uh, I was married and had my own children,
mm,
and I realized the patience that it took to take care of children. And then I realized what my mom went through. And she didn't have time for my older sister and I because she was too busy caring for my younger sister. And so we became real close together and we learned to depend on each other. And then I had no idea, but God was training me when I grew up in my childhood that I would end up being a special needs teacher for almost 20 years. And he used my background to give me that patience and understanding to deal with high school special needs people. And it I considered that my mission every day. I would go to school and I never knew, what was going to happen, what questions they would ask or that type of thing, but I always fell back on, how I grew up and giving them the time and the courtesy that they needed to answer their questions. So that was a benefit there. And then I also joined the Challenge Champions and Heroes group that Dr. Robin Lococo has started, where we uplift and encourage special needs people and their caregivers. So often we forget that the caregivers are the ones that carry the burden the most, more than the person they're caring for, because they have to be on spot 24/7 to take care of those people. And I know that after my husband passed away, it took me a year and a half to get back to what I thought was normal because I was totally stressed out, exhausted, and I just couldn't even think. So encouraging and uplifting caregivers and special needs people is a part of my heart because of my sister. And I love them all.
You know, when you talk about caregivers, that is one thing that I know. I think for the most of it, we don't really realize how great of a job being a caregiver is.
Yeah.
Whether you are being a caregiver, working in the hospital, at home, or in school, it is such an honor to watch what these individuals do.
Mm.
It's not an easy job. It really is not an easy job. Can you think about taking care of somebody 24 hours,
Mhm.
never get a break? And sometimes it weighs on you. It really weighs on you. But those are the jobs that, even those that work in the hospital, I've always said, I don't think they get paid enough because they do the jobs that some of us are not equipped to do.
Yes.
some
It
of us
takes,
are not equipped to do.
yeah,
Correct.
it takes a special person to be a caregiver. Not everybody is made for that.
Not everybody is take for that. And one thing I know, and you stress it so much, is patience.
Yeah.
It
Mhm.
teaches you patience that work because, for example, I had an opportunity. I mean, I live here in the United States, but I have to travel home almost every year to care for my parents for a couple of months before I come back, right? And
Mhm.
I'm telling you, it was not an easy job
No.
because if you have an elderly parent, you would understand what I mean. It's
Mhm.
not an easy job, but you do it with joy, right?
Yeah.
So mine, it's only a month or two, but can you imagine if somebody's doing this 24 hours, 365 days in a
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
That's very challenging.
Yeah.
So I take my hat off for you guys. I honor all those caregivers. You
Yes.
guys do a fantastic job. And thank you for the great job that you do. Thank you. So let's move on to, because what I love about your conversation is how what you experience very early on in life.
Mhm.
It- Growing up with a sister
Mhm.
that was disabled or differently able.
Mhm.
And then having that patience, getting whatever skills you got from there that led you into becoming a special aid teacher for almost 20 years, you said.
Mhm.
I
Um,
want you, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I want you to take me from your journey from getting out of home,
Mhm.
getting married. How did you move from there? So what made you think this is what I think I want to do?
Well, it's not what I thought I wanted to do at all. In fact, uh, I was, the military wife for 20 years, and then when we settled down here in Southern California,
Hmm.
and my husband retired, he was trying to find a job that would compensate for what the military was paying, and he couldn't. So I had to start working. And that's where the special needs came in, because somebody said, well, they need para educators, for special needs. You should go apply. And I go, I don't know anything about that. And at the time I had no college, experience.
Hmm.
But I thought, well, I can type and I can grade papers and stuff, so maybe I'll try that. And so I got on the substitute list for special needs classes. And then once I realized that, I could do this, I applied in the district where I live. And I got a job 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. So that was 15 hours a week, working with fifth graders. And I needed benefits really bad, but that was just part time. So then once interviews came for a full time job at a high school, I said, I'm going to do it, So I went to the interview and I felt confident, and I just was myself. I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I just told them who I was, about my sister, and that I had a heart for special needs. And the next day they called me and said, we want you. So I got hired, and that was the start of my 19 years working with special needs students.
Wow.
Now, most of them were just like learning disabilities, or they were drug babies or that type of thing. They weren't severely disabled, but still had reading and writing problems and that type of thing.
Wow. Now, when you think back if you think back to everything you've learned, everything you went through in terms of caring for your husband, in terms of caring for your sister to a certain extent, in terms of caring for the students that you taught in school.
Mm-hmm.
What is one message that you have? If somebody is listening now, what is one message that you have about how to care for a special need person? Whether it's at home, in the hospital, what is that skill that you have learned that you can pass on right now?
Yes, yes. I first of all, I would encourage people to give them hope, and then help them, treat them as civil as you would a normal person, because a special needs person has a heart and they have feelings. They may not be able to express it in a way that we know, but they hurt just like we hurt when our feelings get hurt. And I encourage you to be kind and civil with them and give them hope for the next step, even sometimes. And then to give them a vision for the future of some kind. Each disabled person has their own unique way of living, and they can't always do everything that we can do. But once you realize what their disability is, you can help them by giving them a vision, helping them to see past today, and giving them a reason to wake up in the morning, you know?
Giving them a reason
Yeah,
to wake up in the morning.
yeah. And then I would say after the vision, help them accomplish that.
Help them accomplish that. It's so true because
Mhm.
oftentimes, depending on what type of disability that the person has, we think they cannot do this, but you and I know that's not always the case. That
No,
you can we've heard stories like Les Brown where he wasn't able to communicate well early on. But look at where he is, or even Dr. Clyde Rivers. But through encouragement,
yes,
encouragement can be from the school teacher, it can be from friends, it can be from family. But when you lift that person up and let that person know that they do matter, because I believe that everyone, if there's one thing that everyone appreciates, it's letting that person know that they do matter. All
yes,
of them, they
yes.
do matter. So talk,
Every
go ahead.
every life is valuable.
Every life is valuable. That
Yes.
is true. Every life is valuable. And thank you for um, again all those nuggets that you dropped regarding taking care of the special need people,
Mhm.
because they need us, the society. They
Yes.
need the society. They need all of us. Even in passing, you see that person. Just taking the time to just say hello, because you don't they have feelings just like every one of us.
Mhm.
Believe me, they have feelings just like every one of us. Unfortunately, in certain situations, especially when we're talking about developing countries, a lot of them don't have the opportunities that
Mm-mm.
we have here in the United States. And hopefully, as time goes on, that will change.
Yes. Even a smile does a lot.
Even a smile does a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
So during the introduction, I mentioned that you were a chaplain. But there are people right now watching and don't know what's a chaplain. Can you talk to us about what is a chaplain?
Okay. I would say a chaplain is a pastor outside of the walls of the church.
Mm.
I am a female who wants to reach other women, men and women, but my heart is for women, to let them realize that they have a gift to share with the world, and I want to encourage them to share that. Um, it's all about civility again. Civility is diplomacy, and in a lot of countries, uh, women are secondhand. They're pushed down. They're not valued as even with the men. Um, I'm not saying anything about the religion or their culture or stuff, but I believe that the women have something to offer the world. And if I can encourage them to be who they are, who God created them to be, and use that gift to bring peace and encouragement to others, then that's what I want to do. Now, another thing that a chaplain is, and most people think that that's what it is when there's an accident or a tragedy or catastrophe that they call the chaplain to come in and, do their last rites or say prayer or comfort the family. And that, yes, indeed, is part of what our job is. But I like to think of myself as a preventative chaplain. I like to get to people's lives before the tragedy hits. And so to do that, I just need to go around and share civility and love with as many people as I can and let them know that they matter and that somebody loves them and that somebody is God.
So actually, you work with women, and do you go to communities, or where do you do your job?
Well, I haven't yet, but I will be going into prisons,
Oh
with
wow.
women prisons, to uplift and encourage them there, give them hope and a vision for tomorrow. And then also at the rescue mission that my husband and I started, they have a women's shelter as well. So I'll be doing Bible studies and just discussion groups with them to help them feel better and encourage them and lift them up.
Wow, that is a great honor. That is
Mm,
a great honor. I have had in the past. I've actually have worked in the. When I say worked in the prison, I went there for some time, helping them tell their story, helping them create impactful and memorable presentation, telling their story better. And
yes.
I'm telling you, at first I was scared to death
Yeah.
because it was maximum prison that we went to, right?
Hmm.
And in my heart is like, oh my God, oh my God. But can I tell you that after the first or second day of being there, they're just like anybody else. And when
Yes.
they begin to tell you the story of their life, some of them are there by accident. Some of them because I didn't actually commit the crime, but they were there because they were at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yes.
Some of them because they were wrongly accused. I mean, but the
Mhm.
saddest is that we couldn't really talk to them per se, like you're talking to somebody outside the prison. There's a limitation, and I totally get it. I totally get it. Certainly, when we completed that program, but that was really an eye opening. I enjoyed the program, and I can do it again anytime. It was a great opportunity. I think for me, seeing them when they
Yes.
graduated and they are telling their story, the confidence before there was no confidence, but after
Yes.
they graduated, the confidence that, oh my God, I was amazed.
Hmm.
I was amazed. Even the people that were guarding them were amazed at what these women have accomplished. So thank you for doing that. I think that's an honor to be.
Well, thank you. You came out of that situation a better person, I know.
Yeah, oh, there's no doubt. Oh,
Yes.
there's no doubt. It's like it wasn't what I was thinking going in, but after I went in, oh my God, that was a great experience, I should say. That was really a great experience. The
That's awesome.
confidence that these women had afterwards was really, it's like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. While before they didn't think that they had anything going for them. And it's
See,
all
that,
about giving
yeah,
people hope. Giving
that's
people hope.
that's right. That's right. That's where the hope, the vision, and the help comes in, right there.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. So talk to me. What is next in the chapter for you now? What is next in the chapter?
I will be going to England in February, and
Oh,
hopefully working with women there. I may be going into the prison there if they can arrange it. Sometimes they have lockdown where the prison doesn't let anybody in for a while. So we'll see. But also, I'll be working with His Royal Highness Clyde Rivers with Civility in England to disperse the racism. Civility is it's diplomacy, it's peace and unity for all, for all. So we have to have an action plan, and that action plan is to sit down and dialogue with each other. Talk about you. You have an experience in your life where whatever you went through, and you're sitting down and you're telling me that. Well, I can't dispute what you're telling me because you went through it.
yes.
And
Yes.
and then if you give me the privilege of listening to my story, then we can dialogue and talk about it and maybe come up with a solution for the situation. So nobody's wrong, but we have to sit down and listen. And that's where civility comes in all over the world, with parents and children, with husbands and wives, with, everybody needs to come together and talk.
And when you're talking about civility, I know you guys went to England,
Mm-hmm.
and that has to do with faith-based
Mm-hmm.
civility. And when I think about it, and you and I talked a little bit about it, I think that most of the problems that we have in this world come from segregating, whether we're segregating because of religion, whether we're segregating because of the color of our skin, whether we're segregating because of the type of work, whether we're segregating because of the type of family that we came from. I think if it wasn't for that, we are going to live in a better place. So tell me a little bit about the faith-based civility.
Well, it's just that it doesn't faith-based civility doesn't it has nothing to do with religion. It only has to do with people of the whole world. No matter what quote unquote religion you are or not religion,
Mhm.
we want to come together and be civil with each other. And that's a hard thing. But you know what? Dr. Clyde Rivers has a book, When Histories Collide, it's called. And that book has the dialogue, the steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, how to actually be civil and dialogue with each other. And I would recommend that to anyone. It's just a small, paperback book, but it's called When Histories Collide.
Right. When history collides. When history collides, everybody, go out and get the book. I know that you're going to get a lot of information to
Yeah.
help you be civil with one another, whether you work it, whether it's at work, at anywhere that you are at all. When we get together,
Yeah.
it will free us from trying to not get along with one another. So listen, I want to take the time to thank you. But before we close, I want you to share how people can contact you if you have something that you want people to participate
Okay. Yeah, you can contact me at Dr. Penny Royal Liaison at gmail.com. And I also have 2 books out that might be encouraging and uplifting to you. One, and you can get these on Amazon. Just put Dr. Penny Heflebower and go to books, Dr. Penny, and then you'll see the two books there. One is All I Need Is You, and it's life experiences that I've been through, and every time all I needed was God, and He was always there for me. So that would encourage you if, in fact, you've gone through some of those experiences. The second book is entitled Who is the Good Shepherd? And it's a takedown, a modern day version of Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And I break it down so it's easy to understand. Anybody that reads it, from a child on up, can understand who the Good Shepherd is, and that's God. And He takes care of you, and He will protect you, and He will guide you through those valleys of the shadow of death. He will lift you up, and He's always with you. And I want to give you hope and encouragement with that book also.
Awesome, awesome. Audience, you go ahead. By the way, can you go ahead and say your contact information one more time, please?
Yes, Dr. Penny Royal, Royal, liaison, liaison, at gmail.com.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Audience, thank you all for joining us. Listen, I've always said that blessing someone is sharing. And when you share this video, others are going to be blessed, because you never know who needs the information on today's conversation. So as you watch this video, go ahead and share it out to somebody. Before we close, I want to remind you that I help female entrepreneurs turn their stories into memorable conversation, memorable presentation. Listen, if you need to contact us because you have amazing stories that you want the world to know about, that's going to impact, create change, I want you to contact me, message me on my messenger, send me a messenger message, and I will get back to you. Until next time, don't forget, every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I can't wait to talk to you again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.